Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to a new episode of AkiGeeks.
And I'm Jack. Hi guys, welcome back.
If you are a first-time listener, a huge welcome. We are the AkiGeeks as well as AkiGeeks podcast and YouTube channels. On AkiGeeks, we chat about geeky pop culture, mostly focusing on TV series and movies, as well as music, books, language learning, and mental health. AkiGeeks is our new channel dedicated to gaming and the tech world in general. So you are more than welcome to check out AkiGeeks as well on YouTube as well as major podcast platforms.
You can also share your interest with us. If you followed us, you already know by now that me and Chris have a very broad range of interests, but we are also different. He's more focused on video games and technology, while I'm more keen on TV series or literature and stuff like this.
You are welcome to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Chris_OCDGeeks as well as Jack_OCDGeeks. If you are watching on YouTube, you can leave us a comment in the section down below.
Sure guys, so subscribe and give us your feedback, which is very important.
Thanks to you, we will be able to provide even more and better contents in the near future. So thank you so much for your help.
Okay, so Chris, this being said, shall we go on with the topic of the episode?
Sure. First of all, Jack, I know that you went to the movie theater in order to watch a movie. Would you like to tell me and our listeners more about it?
Yes, sure Chris. Actually, my week has been pretty boring, but it was enlightened by the fact that I was going to the movie theaters to watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is the last Marvel's movies coming out.
Yes, if you are a long-time listener, you know that we cover Marvel quite a lot in the past, but you know also that I'm not a big fan of going to movie theaters as Jack. Mostly that is related to OCD and just the fact that I feel more relaxed to watch movies while streaming them from major platforms such as Disney+. I'm really looking forward to watch this movie as well. So I would like to hear about you, Jack. What's your opinion about it? But of course, spoiler free.
I was glad when I entered the theater and I saw that it was crowded. I actually understood that I really missed the feeling of people screaming and having a reaction in front of what they see. It was something that was quite missing in movie theaters in the last 2 years. I felt really happy to rediscover it. Part of the experience that makes you feel part of the community and makes you enjoy even more a movie. You know, Chris, I'm not such a big fan of Marvel Cinematic Universe. I didn't follow the movies coming out in theaters in chronological order or stuff like this. But actually, a lot of friends of mine got me really hyped about these new movies coming out, so I was quite forced to watch all of them, you know, catching up in the latest 5 years.
Yeah, even for me, I really do like Marvel movies and superheroes in general, but I don't consider myself an expert by any means. So, you know, talking about Marvel TV series and movies throughout this year of podcasting, I remember, for example, we chatted about series such as WandaVision as well as Hawkeye or Black Widow and so much more. So my knowledge of the Marvel universe grew bit by bit. It's quite a journey that started kinda at the same time as the beginning of this podcast. It's something that has a special meaning for us.
That's right. At first that it was only entertaining stuff.
Maybe you were thinking about action-oriented only.
Yes, exactly, without any psychological content, just an action movie basically. But the more I went on watching these movies, especially the ones coming out in the latest years, I had to change my mind because I appreciated the screenplay as a whole, the direction, which is always enchanting because a lot of great Hollywood names directed the latest Marvel movies.
Yes, you're totally right. Guys, if you are new to our channel and you are a Marvel fan, you can check out our previous episodes. For example, we chatted about great movies such as The Eternals and before that Shang-Chi. Both movies I really enjoyed quite a lot. So I think that you are referring to those movies as well, Jack.
I was particularly thinking about The Eternals directed by Chloe Zhao. Even this time, I really appreciated the directing of Raimi for this Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Sam Raimi is the same director of the trilogy of Spider-Man. This Doctor Strange has an horror touch, let's say so, because it's very scary. It's a movie not really easy to watch, especially if you are a young adolescent or if you're a kid, and it has something related to 90s horror movies, if you can remember some of them, Cris. So it struck me for this aspect in particular.
If, for example, our listener don't have a perfect knowledge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, would you still recommend this movie to them?
Of course, I had to say that I would recommend to watch this movie, but before this, at least watch the first Doctor Strange with Benedict Cumberbatch, who is great, of course, to get introduced to the story of Doctor Strange, to this character and to his life. We see that he lives and experiences several changes. At the same time, to watch WandaVision on Disney Plus before watching this movie, because I didn't watch WandaVision, and especially at the beginning of the movie, I didn't quite understand what was happening. So I had to go and see then what happened in WandaVision, or maybe to ask a friend to tell me what was going on, and it's not something particularly exciting.
Okay, I see that. I was wondering if, like all Marvel geeks, you stayed until the very end of the credits in order to see the bonus scenes, kinda a sneak peek to what to expect next.
Yes, the after credit this time was very funny and entertaining, even if not quite related to the plot of the future.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm looking forward to see Doctor Strange as well on Disney Plus, because he's among my favorite Marvel characters.
Yes, Cris. Apart from this, the cast is great as a whole. There is Elizabeth Olsen, Rachel McAdams, so big names, and a completely new character introduced, which is America Chavez.
What about the soundtrack?
The soundtrack of this movie is by Danny Elfman. Actually, I appreciated it a lot, but not more than other Marvel movies that we've seen. Yes, it's pretty good.
Maybe my favorite Marvel movies related to soundtrack are the Guardians of the Galaxy ones. It is all music coming from the 80s. Both me and Jack were born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s. So, it's kinda really meaningful for us.
Yes, that's right. That soundtrack is totally great. In this movie, even the lovers of the X-Men will have a big surprise coming on.
So I'm sure you gave quite a great feedback.
I hope so, Cris. But tell me about you. How was your week? Did you discover something interesting, technologically speaking?
This is the second topic for today. Completely going away from Marvel, I would like to talk about music streaming apps. It has been around 2 years that I've been using Spotify Premium as my main app in order to listen to music. Recently, I decided just to check something different in order to see, in order to do some kind of comparison and decide if to stick with Spotify or switch to a brand new service to me. So I've been checking several streaming apps, and I think that all of them are quite good and can be perfect for you. So I believe that every app is kinda related to a specific type of listener. So maybe the best app for me might be not the same as Jack's one. It's something very personal.
Yes, it depends also on the taste and catalogs. I know that every application has a different offer on the catalog and more songs than others, for example.
Yeah, about that, Spotify offers one of the biggest catalog compared to other streaming apps. So if you are just interested in finding every single artist or pretty close to that, Spotify is really a great choice.
Yes, and it's worldwide so popular right now.
About me, I was quite curious to check streaming apps that kinda advertise a lot about the quality of sound. I'm talking specifically about Quobuds as well as Tidal. So I don't know if you had the chance to check those out.
Yes, Chris, I checked just the first one out, Quobuzz, because I also knew that the audio quality should supposed to be higher. I had to admit that indeed the quality was higher, and some of the albums which you can find there are actually being reproduced to a super high resolution.
Yeah, I think that about Quobuzz they are calling high-res quality, while on Tidal they are focusing on master quality. So they have different names to indicate kinda superior quality of audio. You know, I have a big passion for music. Actually, both me and Jack enjoy to study and to play main instruments. Mostly for me is violin, and for Jack, guitar and piano. We have quite a passion and knowledge of music overall, but by all means I am not an expert of, for example, kHz or, you know, this kind of technical stuff. So I cannot say more about it because I don't have the technical knowledge. But if you are like me and you are a music lover but not, let's say, audio expert, these kind of apps offer a streaming quality that is usually superior to the CD ones. That is quite great by itself. I should say, Jack, that beside those I also check Amazon Music Unlimited that also offer HD quality.
That's great, Chris. Yes, and I think that sometimes the definition of this super high quality is the same, but it just differs the name. Maybe they have different names for quite same offer.
You know, Jack, I recognize a higher quality, but our listeners should keep in mind that in order to experience higher quality, you also need quite high level equipment. For example, a great pair of cable or wireless headset. So if you are using cheap ones, most likely you won't notice any difference at all. So keep in mind that. About me, you know, Jack, that I'm a Shure fan. For example, the podcast microphone that I'm using to record, it's a Shure one. I also have a wireless headset that is made by Shure. In detail is the Ionic 40. Let me know if you are interested in hearing about it. You know, it's quite a high level headset, so I was able to catch this higher quality. But for the casual music passionate, maybe it's quite difficult to experience this.
Yes, you could even spot the differences between the services even more, to notice any changes in the tone, for example, or the shades of the sound.
Most of all, I would say that the most important part will be what kind of equipment do you have in order to listen to music. Also, for example, the catalog is really important. As I said, Spotify is great about catalog, but also keep in mind that services like Quobuds as well as Tidal, they have an amazing catalog, but at least for me, I was looking for some artists that I was not able to find on those apps. I believe that especially if you are a hip-hop as well as electronic music lover, Tidal would be a great choice. Both Quobuzz as well as Tidal offer a free 1-month trial, so I would totally encourage you to go for it and check it out yourself. Also, keep in mind that there is no free plan after it. So you're going to pay in both cases, a monthly or maybe yearly subscription that is higher compared to other streaming services. Especially if you want the top quality offered by Tidal, it is more expensive compared to other companies. After that, I wanted to check one more app. Actually, this is the one that I enjoyed the most as a Spotify alternative. This app is Deezer. I don't know if you are familiar with that.
I heard of it, but I never used, so if you have any tips to give, please, I'm hearing.
Like Spotify, Deezer as well, like the previous apps that I chatted about just before, it offers a free month trial if you want to get like the premium service. But if you are more a casual listener, there is also a free plan like Spotify, I guess, for example, with limited skip as well as advertisement. So, you don't need to worry about paying a monthly fee if you are passionate about music, but music is not your biggest passion. But beside that, I enjoyed quite a lot just the graphics and the style of the app. It's really well done and well organized. At least in my opinion, I enjoy more compared to other apps. Keep in mind that as for Spotify, Deezer as well offers podcasts, so you can listen to our shows, both AkiGeeks as well as AkiGeeks, on Deezer as well. If you want just one app in order to listen both music and podcast, it can be a great choice, even though the podcast catalog is not as big as the Spotify one, so keep that in mind.
As we can see, the market has many services when it comes to this topic.
I cannot speak for the global market because me and Jack are living in Europe, specifically in Italy, so I know about the price in the Italian market. More in general, I would say that it's kinda comparable to Spotify, while for example Qobuz as well as Tidal, like the upper tier of Tidal, are more expensive than Deezer and Spotify. But even Deezer offer a lossless audio quality, so that's cool as well. I've been listening, for example, the same song first on Tidal and then on other streaming services, and at least in my experience, I wouldn't say that any of these apps sounds bad. Actually, quite on the contrary, both are great. Again, since the audio sound is kinda subjective and it's also, as I said, related to your equipment, I would encourage you to try it for yourself.
Fair enough, Chris. I think you're right on this subject.
Jack, if you remember when we were high school students, the big deal at that time were the MP3 first and of course the most famous of all, the iPod. I used to have my own library together with me every day going to school and later in university as well. But nowadays these streaming apps are quite mature and the convenience of having your own library always synchronized across all your platforms can be, for example, a tablet, both Android and iPad, as well as Mac, PC, or even a smart TV. This kind of convenience is so great. As we said, Jack, these streaming apps most of the time can offer a quality that is even higher compared to CD, so it can be a reason to embrace this digital era of audio listening.
Yes, with such a high resolution of sound, it can take you to a completely different level and different worlds. I mean, imagine you with the headphones on, with so much shades of sounds. It's another kind of experience.
Yeah, even though I want to precise that I also like to collect music, especially in the past. I have hundreds of CDs as well as several vinyls. So if you are a music collector, I totally get it.
Yes, they will never cease to be important to our eyes. I mean, we've been collectors a big part of our lives, and a part of us will ever be.
I am just a collector overall. It can be about books, gaming, or manga. It's something that spreads, so if you're a collector, you totally get it. But if you're not, it's just not your style.
Yeah, everyone has its own.
One last tip, Jack, is an app that actually I bought it for my Mac, but I know that it's also available for Windows, that is kinda related to the audio listening experience as well. This app is called Boom 3D. So I don't know, Jack, if you have heard about this one.
This sounds completely new to me.
I bought it directly on the App Store, but I'm sure that you can download a free trial for Windows as well as Mac on their website. It is not free. I paid around 25 euros, but it's not like a subscription or anything like that. So you buy once and you can use it without worrying about paying monthly for another service. What this app can do for you is to upgrade the quality of your PC or Mac audio overall. If you are listening throughout your headset, it can also affect the equalizer of your headset as well. Once you start the first time, there is a short audio introduction and you're able to confront the standard sound of your PC or Mac, and later just to listen the difference with this audio surround 3D experience. experience. I couldn't believe my ears how big the difference is, especially without headset. There is a huge difference in quality. So if you are into audio or you just want to have a way to improve your listening experience while you're listening to music, or maybe you're watching your favorite movie or series on, streaming services such as Netflix, I think it's something worth to check it out, at least to see if it works for you or not.
And you've convinced me, I'll definitely check it out.
I think so. I checked on my Mac and I didn't find specific apps in order to customize my audio experience. So this is really great for that. Again, since the audio, as I said, is so specific, I would totally recommend you to check out yourself. Guys, now it's your turn to join the conversation. What kind of music streaming app are you using? Let us know in the section down below on YouTube, or write a comment directly on Instagram and Twitter. Maybe you are like me and you have a huge collection of CDs as well as vinyls. Anyways, we will be glad to hear your opinion. For example, what kind of equipment are you using?
Yes, today we gave you a lot of hints, and now it's your time to give us the feedback.
Yeah, and Jack, to close up the episode, I would like to give an insight that is also related to mental health, since we are the AkiGeeks podcast. So we really value mental health in general, specifically OCD and anxiety, but also mental health overall. So I think that if you take the time every day just to listen to music, but not like randomly while, for example, doing housework or stuff like that, just like to be mindful, to sit and close your eyes while listening to your favorite songs, while, for example, focusing on specific components of the music, for example, the voice, the bass line, or the drums. Just feel the moment, what's going on in your favorite songs. I think that is something that can benefit a lot your mental health. It can give you the energy to go on with your day, or it can relax if you feel a bit more of anxiety. Music is great for mental health in general and to keep a balance in your life.
Yes, you can also rediscover some past memories that you thought you had forgot, or to relive some hurtful situation or past trauma and see them in another light. Music can heal in any means.
If you are like us, you are also a music player. I think the benefits of playing an instrument for mental health are even better than just listening to music, because you're kinda create something by yourself. Also, you cultivate a specific skill that it is not only related to the enjoyment of playing, but can benefit your brain as well. For example, for OCD, anxiety, or really about everything. So it can help you to shape and transform your brain in a really positive way, like language learning. So if you are considering starting learning an instrument, and maybe you are not a teenager, you are maybe in your 30s like us, I will totally recommend you. So don't wait for it, just try and you will have lots of fun.
I cannot do anything but agree with Chris. Guys, I hope you enjoyed our recommendations this time. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. I think we could close up, Chris.
Yes, so even for today, let them talk about freaks.
We stay tuned on AkiGeeks.